Hello, everyone, and welcome to my CSU channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chrisleys finally get good news as criminal charges dropped. Todd and Julie Chrisley are in prison, and Todd just dropped an appeal for a defamation lawsuit filed against him. They still have appeals in the works for their other convictions. Their daughter is even pushing for an investigation into the living conditions in the prisons her parents are in. However, the Chrisley family just escaped one court case. Here is a look at the criminal charges dropped for the Chrisley family. Courts dropped criminal charges against Kyle Chrisley. Todd's son, Kyle Chrisley, was facing criminal charges for an alleged assault at his place of work. According to reports, Kyle and his boss, Devin Campbell, got into an argument at work. A fight started, and Devin filed assault charges against Kyle. However, the criminal charges against Kyle were dropped. In March 2023, Tennessee police arrested Kyle for felony aggravated assault. This happened 2 months after Todd and Julie reported to prison to begin their terms. The argument happened at work, and the victim said that Kyle made death threats against him. The reports indicate that Kyle hit Devin multiple times in the face and body. The victim also claims that Kyle held a knife and threatened to kill Devin. The argument was over a $36 difference in Kyle's paycheck. Devin said he hid until the police arrived. Smyrna court clerk's office revealed prosecutors dismissed the charges before a trial. Alleged Kyle Chrisley victim angry about court decision. The victim of the alleged assault, Devin Campbell, said that he is not happy about the dropped charges. What is interesting is that Campbell said that he feels that Kyle got away with it because his family and fame make him above the law, via In Touch. The prosecutors blamed Devin for dropping the charges. The prosecutors sent a subpoena for Devin to testify at the trial, but Devin never showed up. Devin claimed he never got the subpoena, and the 2 men who helped hold Kyle back were also never served. He asked why he wouldn't show up to testify against the man who attacked him. "I've never been assaulted before. I don't know what happens. I don't know the processes are. I still don't know what's going on," Devin said. Kyle Chrisley had another story. According to Kyle, the charges were dismissed because Devin never showed up. "I do know the court tried multiple times to subpoena him. Fame did not play a role in the court's decision whatsoever," Kyle said. "If my family were considered to be above the law, why are my parents in federal prison?" Kyle said he was the employee, which speaks for itself. He said that Devin shoved him first, and when he began screaming in Kyle's face, his PTSD caused him to fight back. He said that since Devin shoved him first, it is an assault by a supervisor in the workplace. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, the Chrisley family woke up to a morning that didn't carry the weight of another court document, another hearing, another headline debating their downfall. Instead, the sunrise felt softer, golden, peaceful, almost miraculous. Savannah Chrisley stood at her kitchen counter, fingers trembling as she held her phone. It had vibrated at 6:07 a.m. with a notification from their attorney. She had expected the usual, a postponement, a small update, a bureaucratic note requiring yet another signature. But the message waiting for her felt unreal, almost impossible. "Call me as soon as you can. The charges have been dropped." The world slowed. Her breath hitched. For several seconds, she couldn't move. Then, with a sob she didn't realize she'd been holding for years, she grabbed her keys and ran out the door. The unexpected turn. Todd Chrisley was sitting at a cold metal table in the visitation room, a place he had come to resent for its sterile lighting and stiff chairs. The air smelled like disinfectant and hopelessness. Still, he sat upright, the same way he had the first day he'd walked in, refusing to let any part of him break. He heard the door open, expecting another guard. But instead, Savannah rushed in. One look at her face, and he knew something seismic had shifted. "Todd," she whispered, her voice shaking, tears spilling before she could blink them back. "Dad, they dropped the charges. All of them." For a moment, he didn't react. He had trained himself against hope. Hope, after all, was the most dangerous thing in prison. It lifted you up only to let you fall harder. But when the meaning of her words began to click into place, his eyes widened, his breath faltered, and the facade he had carefully constructed for survival finally cracked.
What?
His voice trembled. Savannah, don't play with me like that. I'm not. She grabbed his hands, squeezing tightly, grounding him. The appeals court tossed the entire case. They said evidence was mishandled. Prosecutorial misconduct. All of it. Dad, you're coming home. His face folded into his hands as a sob ripped out of him, raw, unfiltered, decades of strength finally collapsing under the weight of freedom. Savannah wrapped her arms around him, and for the first time in years, father and daughter allowed themselves to believe in miracles again. Julie gets the call. At another facility miles away, Julie stood in the yard, her breath fogging the cold morning air as she walked slow laps with her usual group of women. Her posture was softer now, her voice quieter, but her spirit, though bruised, remained intact. A guard called her name.
Chrisley.
Phone. A spike of dread shot through her stomach. Calls rarely meant good news. But when she picked up the receiver and heard her son's voice, her knees nearly buckled. Mom, Chase said, trying and failing to sound strong. You're free. You're coming home. The charges, they're gone. Julie gasped as her hand flew to her chest. What do you mean they're gone? They dismissed everything. You and Dad, this nightmare is over. Tears streamed down her face. Not silently but uncontrollably, her shoulders shaking as 2 years of fear, prayer, and anguish turned into disbelief. When, she whispered, they're arranging your release now. Today, Mom. Today. Julie pressed her forehead against the glass wall beside the phone and cried like a woman reborn. The family reunion. News outlets exploded within minutes. Chrisley convictions overturned. Charges dropped after shocking evidence failure. Todd and Julie to be released immediately. Cameras flew to prisons, to airports, to the Chrisley home. Fans stood outside with signs reading, "Welcome home," and "We always believed you." Savannah didn't care about the media circus. She only cared about the driveway. She stood there with her siblings, Grayson hovering anxiously, Chloe bouncing with excitement, Chase pacing like a man ready to sprint, and Nanny Faye clutching her rosary as if she'd personally negotiated the deal with God. A black SUV pulled up. Chase's breath caught. Savannah covered her mouth. The door opened, and Julie stepped out first. She looked smaller, thinner, but her eyes, those warm brown eyes, glowed with a soft, exhausted relief. She barely made it 2 steps before Chloe threw herself into her arms. Mommy. Julie sobbed into the child's hair. I'm here, baby. I'm here now. Then the second SUV arrived.